G'day and welcome back to RC Model Reviews. I promised you a review of the new HolyBro Kopis2 HD, and indeed in this carry, and I was actually wrong, you can fit these in the carry case with the props on. Ta-da, look at that, fantastic. So yeah, if your backpack's like mine and you really don't have a compartment for storing quads, you don't want to stick it on the outside because people might, say, oh, an evil droner. It's a handy little carrying case, fantastic, brilliant, excellent. And so let's have a look at what you get for your money. You get the same sort of stuff that I mentioned with the little cine whoop, all the little bits and pieces. And there we go, that's it. That's the HD, I'll turn it around so you can read the writing. It's the Kopis2 HD video. And as you can see, it's got the DJI Air system installed, the DJI digital camera, and antennas. Now I'm going to talk about the antenna routing in a moment. It looks nice, looks out of the way. You think, whoa, that's pretty damn smack, isn't it? You're not going to get those antennas caught up in a prop or in anyone else's prop when you're racing, if you use it for racing. But it's not quite as good as it looks, I'll tell you about that. On the bottom, little pad for your battery, battery strap. Really, it's a pretty straightforward quad. Now, as I said, I did review the analog version, the Kopis2 analog, and there it is with RunCam 5. And with the white material in the arms, and I mentioned yesterday that I had reservations about that material, but it seems to have stood the test of time. Now, things to note, basically, I think, is this a little bit higher? Yep, I think they've made slightly longer standoffs, not sure, just to fit everything in. But it's, the motors are different, as you can see, compare the motors. The HD has got bigger motors. These, the analog one had, what are they? I can't read without my damn glasses. Those are Pro 2. Hang on a minute. Time for some granny glasses. Whoa, here we go. Sorry, should have researched this earlier. Poke my eye out. Yeah, the analog version has got the F40s. The digital one has F60s. So there you go. We've got a bit more grunt in here. Also, this is up to 6S, I think, on the digital version. And one thing that I wanted to know is, because people are always saying, oh, the extra weight of the HD system and all that sort of stuff. But hey, let's compare apples with apples. There's the two systems. Which one do you think is heavier? Okay. Admittedly, if you're racing, you're probably not going to have your RunCam or your Session or your GoPro or whatever on here. But if you're going out for some freestyle, you want to get some HD footage, which one do you think weighs the most? Well, I found the scales that don't show the blood after much looking, so let's find out. Let's find out together. I'm picking actually the digital might be lighter, but I haven't checked yet because I only just found the scales. So let's turn them on. Oh, if we can turn them on, here we go. Turn on the scales. The moment of truth, here we go. Here is the HD system, no battery, all ready to fly apart from a battery. What do we get? I'm going to try and get it so the battery strap doesn't touch the ground. There we go. 371 grams. Yeah, it's pretty light. It's not bad actually. So the analog one, basically the same configuration. You've got your FPV transmitter and you've got an HD recording camera. Admittedly, it's 4K in this case. But how much do we weigh that? Whoa, look at that. It's 26 grams heavier. Woo! So yeah, there's no weight penalty to having a digital system if you are happy with the digital onboard recording and you don't need a separate camera. Let's actually take the RunCam out of there and see what it's like without, if I can get it out. This is a really good mount. I love these mounts. They're brilliant. They're rubber and they're almost impossible to, your camera will never fly out of these mounts, trust me. Okay, let's see what it weighs. Yeah, it is lighter if you're not running a separate camera, only 340 grams. So that's like 31 grams lighter for the analog system without an HD recording camera. So in racing trim, this is going to be lighter, but it's got smaller motors. So hey ho, I think this may still outperform it. Right, so what, one thing I also noticed was that the arms are a different material now. I don't know whether they took on board what I said about the arms perhaps being a little bit weak, but I mic'd these arms or calipered them, and these are 4.9 millimeters thick, these arms on the old one, 4.9 millimeters. And on the new one, wait for it, they're 5 millimeters, so it's 0.1 of a millimeter thicker. That's going to make all the difference in the world. Yeah, I'm happy. The arms should be strong enough. And you can buy new arms because, as with all the HolyBro stuff, it comes with a complete list of spare parts. If you want spare parts, there you go. Now, yes, I've got no concerns about the motors, no concerns about the frame. The frame certainly works well. The again, they've used TPU. There's some TPU parts here. Let me just pull and show you the TPU bits. Okay, I lie. I don't think it's TPU. No, it is TPU. It feels like TPU. They've used TPU here, but this is a little bracket. It's actually quite well thought out because it holds the antennas hard against the case here. Because, you know, if you took a tumble, your antennas could pop out because these connectors don't stay in very well. I think a lot of people with DJI systems have discovered that these can pop out in a bit of a ding. You can leave your video transmitter without an antenna, not a good thing, although the thermal management should avoid the ear unit being damaged. But this makes sure these are not going to pop out, which is kind of important. The other printed piece here is this antenna holder. See, it's TPU, nice and flexy. But I've discovered something in flying. Now, the little CineWhoop, I'm able to go long distances even on 25 milliwatts, and which is kind of good. So I only run usually 200 milliwatts, which means the battery lasts a little bit longer, it doesn't get so hot. But this thing's 700 milliwatts. I'm getting 200, 300 meters away, and I'm starting to get down to 2 bars of signal sometimes. The latency pops up. Because I think what's happening is that the antennas are actually in line with the frame, and when you're flying towards yourself, you're blocking a great deal of the signal with the frame. Also, they're quite close to the frame. Antennas don't like operating within a wavelength or so of conductive material. And, you know, this piece of the frame here, if you look at the antenna, that's, you know, a wavelength at 5.8 gigs is what? Oh, I've got to think about that. I don't know, it must be about 24 millimeters or something. And maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but that's certainly probably close to a wavelength. So probably quite affecting the radiation pattern of these antennas, having them down here. And while it's great from the point of view, they're not going to get broken or bent or caught on anything, from an RF performance perspective, it's not so good. This really, even around the mini quad track, I'm getting pixelation in places where I wouldn't expect to get it. And we're only talking, you know, 100 meters. So I'm going to try repositioning these antennas later and see if I run them up here and have them in the normal position poking out the top, is that going to improve my range? I have a feeling it's going to make a huge difference. Either that or I've maybe got a dud ear unit, I don't know. But certainly the range is nothing like what I would expect. And nothing like the other HolyBro CineQuad, which is strange because really when you got something that travels this fast, you want extra range, because if you're freestyling too, if you're going through bandos or you're, you know, just cutting through a few trees and things, you want the signal to cut through the undergrowth. You don't want it being marginal. So I think these are great mechanically, but from a RF perspective, not so good. Maybe these antennas should be up the top here, free and open to speak to the world at 5.8 gigahertz. Okay, folks, bonus update. I just went out, I changed the antenna, just one of them, stuck it up like that. World of difference at night and day. I went twice as far and still had really good signal. Didn't drop below 3 bars the whole way. So yeah, it's the antenna placement that's compromising the range on this thing. If I had a 3D printer, I'd make a little thing up that went across here and held both the antennas out at 45 degrees. I don't have a 3D printer. Maybe I should get a 3D printer. So go to the comments now and tell me what 3D printer I should get. Or if you're a company that makes 3D printers or sells them and you'd like me to review your product, then contact me and we'll see, and I'll review it for everybody to see, and I'll start with making something for this, and maybe HolyBro will make it as an accessory, or maybe they'll change the design a little and offer this as an option in the box whether you use it or not. So if you're going to be flying freestyle, I really do recommend get these antennas up away from the frame. If you're just racing, this may be okay, but even on the tight track we've got here, in some corners it was getting pretty damn pixelated with them way down here. So there you go. Now, as I said with the little CineWhoop or whatever it is, this is a quality machine. HolyBro used the quality parts. It's all very nicely engineered. Just if I go back to the other little tiny CineWhoop that I had before, this thing, look at that screw head there. That's all munted. It's all mangled up because they used the soft screw material. When I got it, it had already been munched up, and I can't get that screw out. So I can't even dismantle this thing to put a new flight controller in or anything. I would have to drill that out. I mean, seriously, the screws that HolyBro have used are nice hardened steel. They're not just soft muck metal, not the cheapest screws in the world. So they use high quality fitments and pieces, and that just gives you confidence that this thing isn't going to fail you. So I'm really happy. And all this, like, even if we look on the side here, these solder joints are beautifully soldered where the motor wires go onto the 4-in-1 ESC. It just oozes quality, and that's what you pay for. That's what you get. Buy quality, buy once. That's what I say. But yeah, I mean, I can't complain. It flies really nicely. I haven't had to change the tune at all because it just suits my flying. Now, my flying is rusty as hell. I haven't flown around the track. Well, the track pulled it down about 10 months ago, and I haven't flown around a track since. So my flying is just awful, but we'll have a little bit of a look at it and you can laugh along with me. at my terrible flying. And around this track around the circuit here, I was probably no more than quarter throttle. Honestly, no more than quarter throttle for the entire thing, because I'm just not good enough to use any more throttle. But it really is nice. It feels confident. I got down low. I felt happy flying low, because the digital system just gives you so much more information to your eyes than analog does. And you feel more confident when you're flying low. So what I'm going to do in a future video is I'm just going to compare the analog to the digital, fly them one after the other side by side, and give you my thoughts as to the pros and cons of each, because digital's not perfect. I mean, there are issues, but perhaps I should touch on the price thing again for people who want to compare analog to digital. Now, HolyBro products aren't cheap. We know that. They're not cheap. They're not tat. If you want cheap, buy one of those and regret it for the rest of your life. This thing, it's never flown since the flight controller finally failed. It wasn't worth putting a new flight controller in. It's just not worth it. Every time you crash, the side panels pop out, and the camera's pretty lackluster, and the props were made of plastic, not polycarb, so they fly apart on their own. So this machine, it's cheaper than the HolyBro product, but man, there's a reason why this looks pristine and new and hardly ever flown, and this thing looks like it's been through the wars, because this is so much better to fly. It's an investment. But going back to this, let's do a side-by-side comparison, because I know a lot of people are saying, oh, those air units are expensive and the digital system costs money. Well, let's say you were starting from scratch. Let's do a price comparison. Let's say you're going to have a HD recording camera in here. You buy yourself a Runcam 4, or if you can get a GoPro Session, or a GoPro 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever. So you're going to spend a bit of money to get an HD recording camera on here, right? It's built into that. Then you've got an FPV camera. This has got the good FPV camera these days is still quite expensive. You can buy cheap ones, but they're cheap. They don't handle a light so well. Some of them have got a bit of latency. Some of them have got nasty lenses. But it's built into the DJI system. Then you're going to have a video transmitter. Now, you can get them in a stack, and admittedly they're pretty cheap these days. You can get a reasonably good video transmitter, even if you get the TBS product, which is really good quality product, $50. But that all adds up. That's already part of the digital system from DJI. Now, also you're going to need a receiver. You'll have to put a receiver in there. So I've got a little XM Plus in here. And that's okay. They're not expensive. But again, it's another 20, 30 bucks, maybe 40 bucks if you're putting something like Crossfire in. You're going to be paying, maybe a little bit more, 30, 40 bucks or something. I'm not sure. So you add that up. Add up the prices of this and the video transmitter, the video transmitter antenna, your radio control receiver. Well, it's going to come probably to more than the $150 US that the air system costs. And the air system gives you all that. It's got the receiver, it's got the FPV camera, it's got the HD recording, it's got your antennas, and it's got the receiver. And so it's like everything. So when you add it up, actually there's as much money in here, more money in here with this camera on than there is in there. So hey ho, it's actually cheaper, I think, in many cases to fly digital. Once, of course, you've got your goggles, and if you're going to use the DJI transmitter, if you've got your DJI transmitter. And I'll do a thing I'm going to do a thing on the transmitter. In fact, there's a video which will be out of sequence coming up shortly, which is just acknowledging that I got this from DJI. They sent it to me for free. Now, there you go. Always got to disclose stuff. If people might think, oh, he's shilling. No, I'm not shilling, because although I got this for free, thank you, DJI, there are no affiliate links in my description. And I don't use that all the time. I still love flying analog, but I'm just trying to make it clear to people now, why would you buy that or that? What are the differences? So yeah, this transmitter, I was a little bit skeptical, but it actually works quite well. The only thing I don't like is the switch positioning. It's actually always reaching. When I'm trying to land, I don't find these switches too intuitive for disarming and things, so I'll get used to that. And of course, the thing is that this has got the full range as well, so you should, in theory, get the 4 kilometers under ideal conditions. I don't think people have been getting that. Some people have, but not everyone. Most of the long range flights I've seen using DJI digital systems have got Crossfire for the RC link. But if you're just flying around, proximity, racing, the DJI transmitter is just fine. And you'll see when I pull it apart in the upcoming video, it's pretty well engineered. It's a pretty well built piece of kit. Its simplicity and plainness betrays the fact that inside there's a lot of goodness. So there you go. So that's about it for this. If I've got some more flight footage, I'll leave you with it. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Comments to the commenty bit down here. And if you've got questions, then please ask them. I'll do my best to address them in a follow-up video. And I'd have to say, if I was looking for a bind and fly quad, and I had the DJI digital system. Yeah, this is so much fun. It is a fun. I mean, the thing, you can have fast, you can have maneuverable, you can have quality. The bottom line is fun. Is it fun? Yes, it's a heap of fun. It's probably the funnest quad I've got at the moment. This will be getting totally worn out in the next few months as our summer arrives, as it eventually arrives. And so I expect to see this covered in dirt and completely almost destroyed. I'll do my best to destroy it. I'll let you know if I manage, but I'm going to reposition these antennas first, make sure I can get some better range. There you go. That's it. Bye for now. Oh, thanks to my Patreon supporters. No mid-rolls on RC Model Reviews videos. Bye for now.